Guaranteed to keep Steven out of there. All right, and welcome to episode 155 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week for our final show of 2024, we have our shortest runtime on the show so far, Chase.
G'day.
He's working on it, though. I think you may have actually caught up and surpassed how many times Chris has been on here at this point. Speaking of which, Chris.
Well, with an attitude like that, I just won't show up for 5 more sessions.
I keep sending you garlic chips. You love it. And the person that doesn't like that I do that, Steven.
I smell garlic. Somebody's eating garlic.
Rachel is not joining us tonight. She had a family emergency pop up. I swear she was here for a little bit earlier. So her and Chris were in the same place. I'm not just crazy and making this up. They're not the same person.
Or
believe you.
are you?
Maybe. I don't know. So this episode, we're not really going to be talking much of the news or other stuff. This is just kind of a wrap up for the end of the year, the end of the 6th season of the show before we start season 7 early next year. Most importantly, probably when the Switch 2 is going to be announced and released like January 8th, I think is the rumor at this point. So we'll have it in like a week or two, whatever. Switch 2 will just appear.
We'll just treat every episode next year as a Switch 2 episode until it comes out.
Yeah, we're just have Switch Watch. Is it coming? Oh man, but we'll go ahead and jump into what we've been doing. So I'm going to start because it was my birthday. You all celebrated and knew it as Christmas. You're welcome. But either way, I turned 45 and I feel
You have
old.
the same birthday as Jesus?
Yeah, just because he's older. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I at least got you a day off, maybe. So who knows? If you didn't, sorry. But still continuing to play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Still really enjoying it. Still brutally beating the living bejesus out of Nazis and leaving him in uncomfortable and weird positions. But what has left me in an uncomfortable and weird position is Mario and Luigi Brothership, because I'm still enjoying the game. But the tone of voice was on purpose on that one, because I understand, like, I still don't agree with IGN's review, like the technical issues and all the other stuff, like they went overboard, but the line about doesn't respect your time, I kind of agree with that now, because I am over 48 hours in, which, mind you, I have severe ADHD. Playing RPGs is difficult for me to keep focus on, and I have been struggling to push through this game for 48 hours. And it's like, I thought I was at the end of the game for like the second or third time, going through the boss fight with the last big guy. And it's like, all right, cool. We're going to finally end this. And it's like, haha, we're basically starting the fuck over. And I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I'll try and come back to it later, but I need to play anything else but this. Oh man. Like, I made it through the other 2 Mario RPGs this year. Thousand Year Door was fantastic, which we already knew that was a huge classic, and I finally got to play it as a portable this time and made it all the way through it. Really loved it. The Super Nintendo one I'd played before and really liked the remake of that this year. But damn it, they really could have trimmed huge chunks of this game out and either made them like an epilogue, like Xenoblade did, where you'd finish the main story and then you could come back later and play the epilogue, all the extra content. Like, maybe that would have worked.
DLC, an epilogue, an extra chapter. There were so many things they could have done instead of making it that whole thing one playthrough.
Yeah. They needed to find some ways to kind of trim up the time a bit. I'm still enjoying it. I still hope to go back and finish it. I've just reached the point. I'm like, I need to do something else for a little bit. So I'm taking we're taking a break in our relationship right now. Like we're on
your
the
brothership.
rocks. Yeah. I'm sailing to other waters for a bit. And the last thing I just wanted to talk about was, as much as Steven's been trying to get me to watch this for a while, and I kept forgetting, and after our very involved Superman discussion last episode, which I loved, by the way. I took up like a huge chunk of the show. I was so happy. I finally watched My Adventures with Superman. I watched the first episode. I messaged Steven going, "Oh, I get the idea behind it. I really like it." And then binge the entire first season. And then the next day I binged the entire second season. And then I was like, well, where's the third? I need the third. And it's not done yet. And I hate waiting for animation now. But I really like this take on Superman. The younger, inexperienced Superman, like how they interact with each other and how they even take into account direct comparisons with other takes of Superman in a very fun and weird way I did not expect, involving, we'll just say, Lois Lane. Just go with that. It gets weird and I love it. One of the best new takes on Mixelpidalic I think I've ever seen. If you've watched the trailer, I loved when he turned him into a crab and he just acknowledges that, going, was I just a crab? Like, I liked seeing like little references to like the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited versions of Superman showing up and all of them as like little background things, which was great. So I highly recommend it. I really like it. Yeah, it was great. So I will let you guys talk now. So Steven, what have you been doing?
I've been playing ZZZ and
Gosh.
Multiverses.
No.
But for once, the gotcha gods have smiled upon me, and all the new content that they had put in the game gave me enough, what they call pulls, to get the new character, as well as they gave you another character for free. So I can now lay back, not worry about grinding, and just enjoy all the content they're giving me, which is a lot, because they did a lot of changes. I'm now doing, what do you call it? Tower defense. They have a tower defense mode in there now that I can play. So they added that mode in there. So I was doing that. I was like, all right. So they're always adding another mode that I can play. The other character who I had to spend money on to get, he had a mode where it played like a beat 'em up, and it was great. So I was just like, they just keep adding more genres. So I was like, yeah, keep going. Then we're still doing For the King 2 with Chase and Shanoa, and with For the King 2, we are finding out some changes that we didn't know about, that we not too fond of, like not telling us when the story's over or the chapter's over. They're just like, okay, you defeated that guy, but that was the last guy, so you guys are done. And you missed out on some challenges because you didn't know that you finished already. And I was like, well, that was unkind. You can't go back. You have to play the whole chapter over again if you decide you missed that one guy, because we missed one guy.
Oh, that sucks.
So they did that to us. And then we got cocky in our next playthrough. We were like, let's play as new classes that we've never played as before. We got spanked royally, and we've now played again with things that we're used to, and we're back in business. Still getting our asses kicked in some aspects, but we're getting better. Same thing with Demeo. It was nice being on a level where nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what to do. You had to look it up. And we were all like, are we going to die here? And we didn't. We got through it, and then we all celebrated. Had a hearty hooray. We patted each other's back and made sure to go to bed and leave before Jeremy got back.
Yeah, I died because I was like, hey, Chase, pick me up. I'm down. And you picked up Shanoa, and thus I died completely. I was like a little frustrated. I was like, all right, I'm going to go upload the show while you guys finish this. I'll be right back. So I came back. I came into the game room because I was playing in the other room, and started uploading the show, doing the notes real quick, and came back to find the main menu on Demeo, and everyone's gone from Discord. And I'm going, hello? Where'd everybody go? It's only been like 2 minutes. What happened? And I'm messaging people on Discord going like, where'd you go? What's going on?
Other than that, I made sure, and I let people know because it's very secretive the way they keep doing these. They had the Zelda Echoes of Wisdom Tetris 99. Made sure to do that last weekend. Get through that.
I missed that one. Oh well.
I keep missing all of them. So,
and then And then lastly, because it just started, was the What If Season 3, which they're doing a new episode each day until I think either today or tomorrow, the 29th. And other than the first one, which is for people who love Gundams, the rest of them are pretty good. They're trying to be a little bit more lighthearted and serious without trying to bring in all the gore and stuff like they did last season, where people are just getting killed and cut in half and all that stuff. So it's an interesting arc they're going through right now.
Yeah, the other thing I forgot to mention is I did finish Invincible, so I've gotten enough gore for a bit. But all right, Chris, what about you? What you been doing?
Been playing Anton Blast, which is a very difficult but beautiful game.
Mm-hmm.
Basically a mix of Wario Land and Crash Bandicoot, and I'm here for it. But definitely high up on the platforming difficulty scale, even for me, who I love these games. But it's still a lot of fun. I found out that Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 was only $20 on Game Pass, the Legendary Edition. So you get a whole bunch of extra cars and things. But as a trade-off, for some reason, Hot Wheels Unleashed 1 does no longer works on my Game Pass. It died suddenly, and now I can't access my precious Blanca and Wile E. Coyote cars. They're gone into the ether. And aside from that, I'm also playing Balatro, which I didn't know you pronounced Balatro. I've been saying Balatro this entire time. And
I thought it was Balatro also. Didn't they say that at the Game
do.
Awards?
Yeah, we learned from the creators at the Game Awards. They were like, "You've been saying it wrong this whole time."
Oh, well, damn.
And I was like, "Oh, sorry, Mr. Thunk."
I'll be playing that next week. I did order the physical copy for Switch, so it's on its way.
Nice. And needless to say, I've also been playing Metaphor, but that's, background noise.
I started Metaphor, so I'll be able to talk with you about that too.
Hooray!
He's now your strategy guide.
Yeah, between him and Jeremy, I've already told him, I was like, I'm going to apologize now. I'm going to be asking lots of questions.
There is a big strategy guide coming out in February. One of the few that are still in print. I'm
Chris
looking
wrote
forward to it.
Chris
Shut
wrote it.
up.
All the pictures were taken by him.
He's going to have that strategy guide and his own version of a rosary for it as his religious guide.
I am going to make you play that game yourself. Not by osmosis. I'm going to just sit down, put
I
you in
will
front of
play it
Metaphor
when it comes out
with
for a
the
specific
Clockwork Orange eye thing, and I'm going to put the eye drops in. I'm like, well, keep hitting those combos.
I will play it for an unannounced system, okay?
Boy.
Nobody could possibly know what that is.
The Flame 2. Yes, we know.
So, Chris, let me ask you this. Like, we've had, obviously multiple Mario games launch Nintendo systems. We've had Luigi pop up. We've had Zelda pop up. What would you do if a launch title on Switch 2 was a new Wario game?
I would have already bought it. Somehow, I would have the system already.
It's funny you said ask that, because I think 2025 is going to be the year that, not in real life, but Christian's going to have a gaming heart attack in terms of saying yowza or an oh shit moment, because they did announce, Atlas announced today that they have some announcements teased for 2025. One announcement's going to come from their SMT team, and they're going to be premiering a new experience from the Persona team. So I was just like, Switch 2 launch titles?
How about say, Chris,
We'll see.
How often do you get new hardware close to launch? Do you normally wait a little while? I've never really judged that with you.
It depends on if they scratch his itch.
That's what I was
I
kind of
usually don't. But
Okay,
if there
that's fair.
if there is a game that is specifically exclusive to a console and there's no other way for me to play it,
Mhm.
I'm probably going to end up getting that console. For the last time that happened with me was Breath of the Wild, because it was beautiful
reason.
and I had a big Zelda itch.
Oh yeah.
But if Atlas is planning a 1-2 punch, then I'm going to have to go into debt for a while, but we'll see.
Oh yeah. The day we all get a Switch 2 is going to be freaking hilarious on this show.
It's a Switch 2 episode. Everybody show off your Switch 2.
Yes, shit's going to happen. Yeah. All of us will be dancing with our Switch 2s.
Oh boy.
I'll be making out with mine.
Gross. All right, that's enough. Next.
Why is just only got one Joy-Con? It needed to be closer to me. Don't ask where it is.
Magnets, how do they work?
It's got haptic vibration.
Is that why the Joy-Cons are now washable?
I keep telling the controller I can't find it, so it's vibrating at high
You just
velocity.
hear someone in the background.
Oh God! So we've made it here. All right.
If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Oh.
This is where we've gone to.
Chase, please lead us off.
Yeah, Chase, what have you been doing before we ruin this?
Oh, well, I have not been playing with Joy-Con controllers. That's a lie, actually. I have, but not in that way. I have been playing Brothers co-op with Shinoa on the Switch.
Nice.
So it's pretty fun. We finished the first chapter, what I'm assuming is like the first chapter. For the King 2, as Swan mentioned, we decided that we were totally ready to go into a level 1 dungeon when we were level 0. We weren't.
Game treated us like SMT.
And the second playthrough's been a lot better. We're on a ship with wheels and we're traversing the map, so it's been pretty good.
This is for the King 2.
Yeah.
I need to just break down and buy this damn game or not.
Oh yeah, you could. I mean, it just depends on if you like RPGs and like
We know I
turn-based.
don't, but still.
Yeah.
Like playing with friends.
Sometimes the animations, the game has quite a few funny moments with like the animations and stuff, so
Yeah,
it can
ragdoll.
be the ragdoll, especially when
Nice.
somebody gets like a critical hit and then an enemy just goes flying off the screen. You're just like, yes.
That makes me think, what was it, Final Fantasy X? You could do one of the attacks and like if you fight this big creature and it just goes flinging off into space and you're just like, okay.
Demeo was a lot of fun. We got to the end of
I remember I clutched the game by accident.
yeah, that was so. Oh god, that ending was perfect. Like that couldn't have been better. Like in a movie,
I missed it, all of it.
Yeah,
God damn it.
Swan set down a vortex orb, and I was just like, Swan, you've done the most like heavenly thing you could have possibly done for me. I res Shinoa, and then with my last action, I just yeet one of those oil lamps, blows up a few of the duplicates for the final boss, and I think it's book 4. Then the vortex orb gets rid of a bunch more, does a bunch of damage to the final boss and to a bunch of the other enemies that are around, to the point where Shinoa just has to do 5 more damage. So she just shoots the final boss and ends the game.
Getting rid of a card.
Swan's dead, Shinoa's dead, you're dead. Then I pick Shinoa back up, and Shinoa's like, we can she's like, I'm just gonna end this. So that was great. Been playing Path of Exile 2. I finally decided to get the beta.
Nice.
Game is hard. It's fun. It's unapologetically Diablo, like through and through. Even pressing up to do, and your character does the whole town portal thing. Like it's just like, okay, it's Diablo. Okay, and the it's fun. I really like it. The game looks really good too. But it is definitely difficult. Some of the bosses are hard as fuck. It is really brutal. If it wasn't for one of our friends coming in, we tried a boss and we died like probably 20 times. And one of our friends who was like quite a few levels ahead of us, we were like, can you please help us? And he's like, I hate this dude, but all right. So he comes in and we're both dead and he's running around and he finally kills it. We're just like, thank you. we didn't want to deal with that anymore. So that was fun. But so one gripe that I do have about the game, though, is that it does not support keyboard and mouse on consoles. It is kind of a gripe that I've had with just this generation, because they natively support keyboard and mouse, but then games that it's like it makes sense that you'd play it in keyboard and mouse, they just don't add support for it. And it's just more the fact that it's like, I just think it'd be a good option. I just feel like people could you could at least give people the option if they want to do it or not. But yeah. So then the last but not least, kind of talk about it probably a little bit later, but for Christmas, I got Shanoa a new board game called Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle Earth.
Ooh.
And it's actually really fun. She's absolutely enjoying it. She's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, as anybody from New Zealand would be.
As anybody should be, period.
And the game is run through a companion app, and you like basically build your maps, which are kind of like randomized. They give you like all these map tiles. You just build your maps. Like the app will tell you like, "Oh, place these tiles here," all that. So it's like, and then you can play as a bunch of the different characters from the Lord of the Rings books, like characters that you know and some characters that you don't know, and you move around the map, interacting, like searching for things, interacting with people. It's really well done. It's actually really fun.
Nice. Have to see a little bit more about that one. Some of those board games I find interesting. I haven't seen too many with like
You
companion.
just can't be the girl from the movie.
No,
What?
no. Otherwise, it'd be easy mode.
Dang. Maybe expansion.
Oh, that movie was bad. Just bad.
That's not what she said.
Yeah, that is not what she said.
So, like I said earlier, Rachel is not here, but she had a few things she posted for this that she did recently turn 32. So, a belated
birthday,
happy
Rachel.
birthday to Rachel.
Happy birthday.
And the other thing is, I was hoping to finish because we finished What We Do in the Shadows. I wanted to talk to her about that, but we'll wait until next time she's on here because that was the series finale that we had. And then she saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which I haven't seen yet, but she did give it a thumbs up and recommend that we go watch it. So good to at least hear about that. All right, so we are going to go into the group chat. We're not really going to cover the news this week because there's not really any going on, but as I found a sound effect that I thought most appreciative, and I think Steven also will. So this officially will be how we introduce group chat. It was just too damn good. Yeah. I had too many good things. So first thing I want to talk about is how our Christmases went, which Chase, you had already kind of hinted about that. So I'll let you start us off. How was your Christmas? How was your holiday going? Or how did
it was
go?
good. I mean, I had to, I worked every day but Christmas. But for Christmas, like I said, I got her the Lord of the Rings board game plus an expansion. And then for my present from her, she got me, bless her heart, the memory card for the Xbox Series X. So I've got a 2 terabyte memory expansion.
2 terabyte.
Kick ass.
Yep. So
yeah,
that was
to get one of those.
Yeah, so it was pretty awesome because my Xbox went from like the buttons like popping off the shirt to like
So technically we have the same amount of storage right now because I have the 2 terabyte Series X and I can put a 1 terabyte in the back of it, and you've got a 1 terabyte with a 2 terabyte in the back of it.
Yeah. So
nice.
No, that's good. We haven't got it yet, but as a Christmas present from both of us to ourselves, we eventually want to get a 3D printer. So that's in the works at the moment. And
you talked to me about that some before.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what you guys get.
Yeah, we're looking at a Creality right now. That's probably our
I've
runner.
liked theirs. Are you going for a multicolor? Because that's the multicolor and the self-leveling beds have become such a convenience now. I'm like, by the time I can upgrade one, that's kind of a requirement almost.
So I don't know if they've made an option yet. We're looking at the Creality K1 Max. I don't know if they've added a multicolor option to it yet. If it's like an optional thing you can add on or not.
There's a few of them that are designed around that. And I'm still looking at like how the differences in models and, printing and setting up. And when you guys get that, I will gladly help with a bunch of it. And Chris,
you're going to need to print a Switch too. First thing.
Yeah, it was a toss up between that and the Bamboo Lab P1S, but I think we're going to.
Bamboo's a good one as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're good either way. Creality and Bamboo are like the big two. So
yeah, it was just for everything I've looked at, like the comparison stuff online, they pretty much look like that's what the comparison thing said as well, as you're going to be fine either way. It's just
Yeah.
Creality. They said Creality probably offers a little bit more in some areas, and then obviously Bamboo offers, like, they have their pros and cons as well. But yeah, so right now I think it's the Creality K1 Max we're going to go with.
Okay. Nice. Well, that's going to be cool. All right. Chris, what about you? How was your Christmas?
Quiet and restful, as I prefer it.
Garlicky.
Garlicky, yes. I spent most of November dealing with my family, and it was, there were good parts, there were bad parts, there were harrowing parts, there were peaceful parts. But when I got home, I didn't want to visit anybody. I didn't want to hang out with anybody. I just stayed at home. And Christmas Eve, I made myself a huge-ass dinner of curry, popcorn, shrimp, turkey, and a very decadent Danish dessert called risalamande, and I just stayed in my chair by my rig, eating and gaming, and that was the best Christmas I've had.
With a
His
side of
stomach
garlic chips.
grew.
Yes.
His stomach grew 3 sizes that night.
Nice. Steven, what about you? How was your Christmas?
I was good. I got a lot of Nintendo stuff as expected. Got to give my wife a lot of different gifts. She never expects any of them. She got the 4K Shout Factory version of Dark Crystal that actually comes with a glass crystal that looks like the one from the movie.
Ooh.
So now you're doomed.
I got her the hardcover of Trigun, which is all the original properly sized serialized manga. 700 pages of it, so she's got a different thing to read.
That's a lot.
Got her some other like little things here and there. Got her the Burning Rangers soundtrack because they had a 30th anniversary, so they released a soundtrack. Got that from Amazon Japan. And then all the other things I wanted to do, I did not get time to do at all. So I'm doing it this weekend.
There you go.
To ring in the new year.
Nice. So for me, like I said before, it was also my birthday. Turned 45 that day. But we kept it kind of small. Amanda made me my mom's recipe of banana nut bread, which I just finished off this morning because that stuff is delicious.
Nice.
Yeah, my mom gave her the recipe before she passed away years ago, and Amanda is the only other person that makes it, which I need to find out because I shared that recipe with Shanoa specifically. And
Yes,
I'm
you
curious, did it, because no one said anything, and I'm like, oh, did they not like it? What's going on?
No, it's delicious.
Okay, cool. Did you try a little bit of butter on there like I told her?
Yeah, she did that, and then she also made a thing of chocolate icing, and she put chocolate icing over the top of it as well.
Oh, I've never done that before.
She tried doing that because she's like, I think this would go well with it, and she was right.
I've never done that because that's not how my mom made it, but that's actually kind of cool. It's a nice variation on it. I'll have to give it a shot. So that's good. I'm glad to hear. Yeah. My mom would be loving the fact that her recipes made it all the way down to New Zealand. She would find that so hilarious.
Yeah.
That someone on the other side of the planet made her recipe.
They're taking the bread to Isengard.
Banana lembas.
So yeah, that makes me very happy to hear that. Thank you. And then Amanda made me shepherd's pie, at least my mom's recipe of shepherd's pie, because my mom used to make these for me every year for my birthday. So Amanda makes them for me. She makes shepherd pie throughout the year whenever we want that, of how she does it. And it was just kind of nice and convenient. The banana nut bread, I tend to wait because if I have it too often, you almost take it for granted. And I used to take it for granted when I was younger because I could get it all the time. And then after mom passed and Amanda did the recipe, and I remember the first time she made it, I literally broke down crying because it was exactly how it was. And Amanda's like, that's the only recipe she follows to the letter to make it that way of how mom described it. So it's really nice. I'm gonna go a little further because she's like, we got some extra stuff. I was like, let's make a second batch for New Year. So I'm gonna get some more because it makes 2 loaves. So that's
Send me that recipe for shepherd's pie. I want to try it.
Okay, the shepherd's pie is pretty. It's not like you hear shepherd's pie and you hear more of the Scottish or Irish version, and it's it's different. It's not that complicated. I'll give it to you though.
That's
I like
fine.
it. And then Amanda, because we've had a lot of stuff going on, having to do repairs around the house and fix things and so forth. So money's been kind of tight. So I was like, don't worry about getting too much. But she did surprise me. Amazon kind of ruined it because it popped up going like, your Batman statue's being shipped. And I was like, fuck. I didn't want to know that. No one else in this house is going to want a Batman statue. But I made sure not to look at it. And all I saw was like who made the statue and that it said Batman, which thankfully could be other stuff. Because it wasn't actually Batman, it was the Joker. And it was this one. It's like Kobe Yuta or something like that. This is the Joker from the Killing Joke. Absolutely fantastic statue, even down to like you can see the ripples of the rain and the base and stuff. And when you display it, it's got a piece that goes around the back that's all black and white, just the ha 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 from the comic, which is great. And I absolutely love this thing. Like the detail of like his fingers through his hair, like that is fantastic molding on this for
It's
how
very
they did
impressive.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I am because I don't have that many Joker statues.
You're joking.
Yeah, I've got the one from like Batman Arkham Origins, which you can swap the head out. You know, spoilers, people. He's Black Mask in disguise. Where you can put the Joker's head on there, and that's a pretty good size one. And different Joker figures from different stuff, but a lot of my statues tend to usually be Batman himself, different kinds based on different artwork. So this is a great addition to that. So I was super happy, and she was like, "Oh, you're gonna love? Are you liking it?" I was like, "I freaking love this thing. What are you talking about?" So yeah, other than that, was pretty quiet, pretty chill day. Had some fun. So yeah. All right, so let's move on to our next part of this.
Jinkies.
Yeah, it's gonna bring a smile to Steven's face every time I do that from now on. But that leads us into our favorite 2024 gaming memories I wanted us to talk about. And I'm going to start this one off as well because this also involves Steven. One of the bigger events of this year for me was I finally got to experience and play Snatcher. Live recorded it, put it up on YouTube, so you can find that over at youtube.com/ZenspathCom to watch our 4-episode entire playthrough of Snatcher. And I absolutely loved it. It finally clicked and made sense. I had a great guide walking me through it to save me, trouble of stumbling through stuff all the time, but he let me try things, including hilarity of what happened in the bar when you're like, don't do that. Oh, never mind. And I showed the badge and we got kicked out. It was great. I think, Steven, I even found like lines you hadn't heard before.
Yeah, I'm going to go into that.
Okay. I figured with stuff like group chat, we can kind of both talk about it. But yeah, I had a great time with that, and I look forward to, we'll go about it later, doing another adventure kind of like this with you sometime next year. So Steven, we'll get into one of your memories and go ahead.
Yeah, it was basically getting to, usually I'm always playing Snatcher.
Mm-hmm.
I still did. I suffered through the Japanese version to see what it would be like on Saturn. Not as good. But watching somebody play it for the first time, I love the feeling of somebody experiencing something that's so highly regarded, for at least for me, whether they like it or hate it. I just like to see people's reactions. And then through trial and error, Jeremy did keep forgetting to take off the mask, so we got to see, or I got to read new dialogue that I've never seen before, because I was just like, I never thought of just keeping the mask on. I just followed the FAQ to the T and did the Easter eggs and didn't do anything else. So
yeah, you helped me find all the other good little hidden things, but I wanted to try random weird things. Just if I had a thought, I'm like, I'm gonna give it a shot, see what happens.
But some of that, like playing the Saturn version of Snatcher, was thankfully too, as much as people love and hate the different systems out there. They love their analogs. They love their frame meisters and stuff like that. I still like the concept of the polymega because it was able to just take my media and back it up for me right then and there in a very legal way. But you also had the benefit of, if there is a translation file, you can install it on there as well and play through the game fully translated. That was very helpful. And the fact that it supports everything from N64, PlayStation, Saturn, just opens up a lot more possibilities. I loved setting it up. They're releasing their own line of titles where they're basically taking a bunch of like history of different ROMs and game series and releasing them on disc. So I'm really happy about those too. I'll be picking up their light guns because then those light guns work with every system that has a light gun. I was just like, that is awesome.
Yeah, that's a good reason right there for one of those.
And I think just from watching different um, influencers play all the different PC games out there, um, I liked to finally be delving into my PC and playing multiplayer games like Lethal Company, like Demeo.
Mm-hmm.
Dabbled a little bit into We Were Here, so it was nice to get into those.
Nice. All right, Chris, what about you? What was one of your favorite gaming memories for this year? 'Cause as you can tell, we're pretty much just jumping around,
That's
going
fine.
through them. So,
Well, I stayed up until 7:30 in
7:30.
the morning. Thank you. 7:30 in the morning for the first time. I played a video game pretty much for the entire day
oh, what
without
game
stopping.
could it have been?
Okay, so I have to explain. I was at the final stage of Metaphor, and I thought that I had enough levels to make it to the end boss. The end boss trounced me, and it was around maybe 2, 3:30 at night in the morning, and I'm just like, I'm really tired, but I want to see the ending of the game because I've gotten this far. So I do a little grinding, I do some more stuff, and I try again, and I die, and I try again, and I die, and I go and do a little bit more grinding, and I try again. And there's another boss right after that, and I managed to get that done. And by the time I look around, for some reason, the bedroom's a lot lighter. I go out and I see, I see somebody getting ready to work, and I was like, "What time is it?" I'm like, oh, so yes, Metaphor is the first game that I stayed up until 7:30 in the morning finishing.
Pulling up an all nighter, huh?
Oh, very much
Is that
so.
really your first time doing that? You didn't pull all nighters playing games as a kid?
Well, the thing is, the earliest slash latest I'd ever been was 5, and I was
Ah,
always
Yeah,
tired by then.
and I had him beat because I did 5:30 because I would even play stuff with Chase and Shanoa and play that long. And the only time I've ever gone longer than 7:30 is back when I job was different and I could play D&D until the next day.
nice.
Aside from that, I just remember everybody's reactions to the Capcom Marvel Fighting Collection because the fact that you could play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 made so many people happy online and offline, and it was just really cool to see everybody be that excited.
We still need to play
Uh,
that, by the way.
oh yes, we will soon. We will soon. And aside that, the most unexpected of moments was playing Thank Goodness You're Here. It was playing through basically an entire Monty Python or Benny Hill sketch, and I had forgotten how much I enjoy that kind of comedy. So it was a breath of fresh air and something I really would never have expected. So I was very happy to play that. So yeah,
I
those are
have
my big ones.
I have that one in my checkout on Steam because it's on sale right now. I think it's like
Oh,
$20.
good.
So because I remember Rachel wanted me to get it as well, but she said I had to play it on stream. Like she has to be there to watch while I play it. And I was like, okay. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
buy it and have to do that.
you could tell Chris was into it because he's like, I'll watch it play it for a little bit. And he watched it and he's like, I gotta go. I need to play this for myself and I don't want it to be spoiled. And I was like, he must like it. Because usually he's like, oh, okay, I'll just watch you play it and maybe down the line. But no, he was like, I gotta go.
Yes, it was too much fun.
That keeps reminding me of a Switch game that I had played. What's like This Is Not a Game or something like that.
Oh
That
yeah, that
I
one.
ended up playing it on stream in one go. I played the
Wow.
entire game in one sitting on there and recorded it. and it was absolutely hilarious.
There you
I
go.
love the stupidity of it. So that's cool. I'm kind of looking forward to that. All right, Chase, what about you? What's one of your memories? We'll cycle to you now
Well,
for this year.
the top one, like it's gotta be the top one of the year, was meeting somebody named Jeremy
That asshole.
that turns out loves Gears of War almost just as much as me. And
It's
so
so
then I got
good.
to play through the entire series again with Jeremy, and then when it allowed, Swan as well. That was awesome. That was the highlight.
Yeah, this
That
whole
was-
year we played every freaking Gears of War, and then we got an announcement of a new Gears of War.
Yeah, just
We
in
were
time. It was
so
great. It was so great. So that was definitely the highlight. That was peak.
It's been good having you on the show, and that's what we were laughing about before the show. It's like, holy shit, I did meet you this year. It feels like I've known you longer. I was like, no, it was like last year at least. Shit, it was just this year.
Yeah, because we met on Helldivers, and Helldivers was that February or March? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it was around your birthday that you finally joined us, and it was, I guess we thought like we'll have you on as a guest, and then you just never went home.
I just keep showing back up.
We
Which
locked
has
him
been
in
fine.
this white and green room.
Yeah.
Right. Which has been fine. You fit in great, so it's been absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
Slide food under the door. You know, we occasionally make sure he's still breathing, and then we turn the podcast camera on.
yeah.
We let him out once a weekend to make pot roast.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
the
then,
Gears of War co-op stuff has been great this year.
oh, that was good. And then, yeah, obviously the probably the second, the thing right under it, because to me nothing tops Gears of War. Second thing right under it is getting invited on as an actual just member of the podcast. Was definitely the rock on. That was awesome.
You're definitely a standard and permanent member of the show. So like, I even made sure I was like going back, like I'll be going through some random social media and like, oh shit, I didn't add Chase's name in there. I'll go in and add it real quick and add you into there. I think I had to do that recently. I found one of them didn't have it. I was like, oh nope, need to fix that. So yeah, I think everywhere has you listed now. All right. So cycling back to me, one of the other things this year, I've been doing console modifications for a while now, but this year I've really been pushing to kind of get everything set up and playable again and building up the library in the house. And, you know, what you can see behind me, I fixed my arcade machine. I'm about to do some more work on that. That's my Double Dragon 87 arcade from Taito that is running again. I'm going to go through and do a recap and some other stuff for it. That's going to be really time consuming, but it'll be nice to kind of refresh everything on the power supply and on the board itself. But I've been doing that going through my consoles as well. I've been modifying PS2s. I just modified and rebuilt 3 original Xboxes recently. I'm going to be doing some Game Gears for myself and a friend of mine here shortly.
Do you need any help soldering?
I am going to attempt at finding out whatever the hell Steven did to this thing. And I will have this on camera. We will find out together the monstrosity. There's so much solder in this thing. If you look at it, there's a gap. Like it is pushing up from the power part.
I know. I really had to press hard.
Oh God, we're going to see if I can salvage it. If I can't, I'm going to end up taking parts to try and revive the other
It's going to be an organ donor.
Somebody else gave me. They're like, my dog chewed on it. Can you fix it? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm going to try. I've been trying. But I'm hoping I can fix this. I don't want to kill it. My goal is if I can somehow make it work again, is actually sending this damn thing back and making you play it. Make you, and Chris will help me because I will give him more of the chips.
Okay,
and he will be armed up, and you'll have to transfer everything you have onto this one and play it.
How about, you know what? If you can fix it, then I will take from Rachel, Chase, Chris, and yourself. You guys can each pick a Switch game, no matter what, from either the eShop or one that I own, and I have to play it enough to give an opinion on it on the next episode.
I will put every fucking thing I have engineering-wise into fixing this now because I have some dumb ideas for games.
Because 1, I own a lot of games, and 2, there's a lot of trash on the eShop. But I will I will spend the money for if somebody saves me the money of getting a system working again.
I don't know if I either want to go with a great one that I love, like I hate the term, but hidden gem, or if I just want to go as dumb as I
I
possibly
might own the hidden
which is
gem, but
also
if
great.
you pick something that's god awful and you find out from other people that it's the worst ever, then yeah, go for
I
it.
guess that is an extra thing for this year that I've also enjoyed because we've really gotten into the swing of the show this year, but that's discovering how many fucking games you and I have that we both were like, oh, you actually have that one. Like most people don't, it's been great kind of just stumbling across that. But anyways, like rebuilding the library, getting everything set up is been a nice little kind of focus for doing that after getting my RetroTink 4K and all the equipment. I've even been doing like VHS transfers and recording old family recordings, as well as like those old Nintendo promotional VHS tapes, which were just like the Nintendo Directs of their day, like back when they got weird. I'm trying to find the Star Fox one. That is like a goal.
I have it.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I said I'm trying to find it, Steven. Unless you're sending me that shit, that does nothing for me.
Well, if your job ever brings you to Nebraska, pack something that you can transfer onto DVDs.
Yeah, that's a lot to carry. I'd have to bring my VCR, my RetroTink, a capture card that's compatible with my laptop.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it's a
Just
setup.
cram a video toaster in a suitcase. You'll be fine.
It would be easier for you to just let me borrow the tape, take it home, record it, and then send it back to you.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to find it. I want to have it in my collection. My favorite part of that is I recorded the Donkey Kong 64 one they did. And I actually found the guy that was in it that did the, crush me, big monkey, crush me. And I recorded that and made it a meme. I found him and actually sent it to him. And he's like, oh my God, somebody found this again. And talked to him about it, which was hilarious. It's like one of his earliest actor jobs was doing that tape. So that was a highlight for that. And then the last thing for me, at least, is all of our Saturday night multiplayer matches after the shows that have become a standard that I look forward to every week. I am grateful for and find hilarious. Steven and I were doing it for a while, then we got Chase involved, and now it has just become like that's where all the Gears of War came from. Helldivers 2 took it over for a while. Then we have Demeo. We played through A Way Out, which was I finally got to play that and get emotionally fucking wrecked. Oh my God. And Steven, to his credit, didn't say a damn thing about what was going to happen, even when I joked about it.
I left hints because there was a part where he got a gun, right?
Yeah, I was like, what am I trying to shoot?
And he's like, wouldn't it be cool if I could shoot you? I was like, yeah.
So to preface it, I want to tell this one story though, Jeremy.
Sweet little innocent Jeremy had no idea.
I gave him some insight on those stories.
Yeah. So when Swan and I first played this, we got to that scene. We got to the twist, right? And Swan and I were chatting, like we were talking like a whole time during this game or whatever. We got to the twist, all of a sudden we went cold. We were against each other, just like in the game. It was great. We were both invested.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and that's where his speciality came to the forefront, and mine could not save me.
Yeah, because there's never going to be a time that I'm ever going to beat Swan in a button masher ever, unless I beat him 3 rounds in a shooter.
Oh man, yeah, it did get. I was just like, oh no, I don't want to do this, and then I just had to kill him. I didn't have a choice. I was like, nope, have to do it. I absolutely love that game. I'm looking forward to the new one he has coming out. That guy is a master at making co-op games. Like him and his team. It's a phenomenal and great way to do it, especially the fact that it plays no different than if we were sitting on the couch together, which I think is great. And I may eventually get my boys to play it and record them and make them go through it.
Oh boy,
they don't know, and I could film them both sitting there doing it, so they'll have to look at each other at that moment, going like, "Dude, which you know what? They'd shoot each other."
No fighting.
I raised my kids right; they'll do it. Exactly.
Especially since this is not a spoiler for anybody, but especially since the game encourages competition throughout that it
Yes.
reminds you, like when you threw the axes, Jeremy got 100 points, and you're like, well, okay, I'll go over there and try that. Steven did 15 pull-ups at the prison. Well, I gotta do 16 pull-ups.
And we kept doing
Yeah.
that to each other back and forth. Yeah.
I made sure at least if it was a button mashing, I was like, I'm winning all of those. But if it's
I
anything
couldn't beat him
else,
at the arm wrestling.
if it's anything else, I'll give it to him if he gets it.
If I give you a run for money on some of those, but like you get so hurt, there's nothing you can do no matter how fast you're doing it.
Yeah,
But
that's when I was just like, Chase has got me here.
so I'm looking forward to the new game they got coming out, and we'll have to determine how we're going to play that now that there's 3 of us and they're only 2-player. But I want to go back and what was the other game? Not A Way Out,
Takes
but
Two.
It Takes Two. I had started playing co-op with someone else with that. That whole situation fell out, and I wanted to start it over and play with somebody else. So, if anybody wants to play, I'm down.
I never finished it, so I can do it with you. I know Chase already finished it, so it would be us that it would be new to us.
Okay.
At least for me at a certain point, because the other guy I was playing with flaked out and decided to play Metaphor for the 5th time. I don't know who that is, though.
At least your reason was,
I'm not going to say his name on camera.
At least your reason was better than mine. I think I got up to the B's, and that was as far as we got. So maybe a little bit further.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit past that, and then he became the Antichrist. So whatever.
Jesus. So yeah, I'm looking forward.
Not naming names here or anything.
Yeah,
no, that wouldn't be very Christian of me.
Wow.
You never brought that game up again. That is on you.
I brought it up daily.
You're a liar.
Going on Metaphor ruled your life.
Speaking of dailies, freaking ZZZ Multiverses boy.
Oh, yeah, he's got a
He's
point
got you
there.
on that one, buddy.
That doesn't take away from any co-op.
You're a liar.
You feed the gotcha beast.
Exactly.
Wait till we get to our game of the years. I'll show you.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to next year for our co-op and multiplayer because that has become a highlight of my weeks along with the show, and I've absolutely loved it because we haven't been able to have our game nights that we used to here every week where people would get together because people have moved and so forth. So thank you for giving me something else to look forward to each week and fun to have with friends. So I appreciate it. It means a lot. Trust me. All right, let's move on to our last part of this section.
Jinkies.
Every time he's going to do that, and I love it.
It's Pavlovian.
It made me laugh so hard every time that would happen too. All right, so we're going to go through our games of the year by system. I'm not going to go through all the BS of trying to pick one greatest game of all. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Right now, I'm just like,
I will.
that's fine. There's so much shit. Steven is just
One game to rule them all. One game to find them.
Right. So we're going to start with the Nintendo Switch. And the games for me this year, the highlights have been Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, which was a really highlight start to the year back in January. Like I still think about and play that game and love it. Like it was already on my game of the year list back then, and it's held up. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom was a lot of fun. I probably wouldn't put it as high as Prince of Persia. It's not the best Zelda game out there, but I've really enjoyed it. My daughter's really enjoyed it. It was just a creative and fun way to play as Zelda, not just be a Link in a dress, which a lot of people were worried about. And then the surprise one for me for the Switch that I did not know how I would take it, and I got completely enthralled, and that is Demeo the Smiling Man. I absolutely just got hooked by that game with the murder mystery, trying to solve it, played through all of it, and then went through like 2 different like closing parts that it added on that changed a lot of the stuff too, which was great, and still think about the story on that one. Chase, what about you? What are your top games for the Switch this year?
So my top game for the Switch was Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Just turn-based RPG are just always going to win for me. And then as an honorable mention, Shinoa played and beat The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and she said that was definitely her highlight of the Switch
Nice.
for this year.
That's a
She
good
played
game.
it she definitely played the Switch a little bit more than me. So I was like, you got to give me one.
See, it's fitting. Both of our love of Gears of War, and then we both have a love for Advance Wars, makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Because I thought Advance Wars was last year. It wasn't this year, was it? That thing was so mixed up, or was it released later there?
That's actually a good point. I don't know.
Either way, it's our list. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Elden Ring could be up there for Game of the Year like three years in a row. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Like,
oh God, he's never gonna let that go.
no.
Chris, what about you for the Switch?
Well, I played more of the Switch than I realized. For me, playing Super Mario RPG again properly after all this time and redone in such a masterful way was a lot of fun. The graphics were great. They kept the comedy in, which is always very important. And not only that, they added new stuff that wasn't in the old one that were all pleasant surprises. I won't say what the stuff is, just in case someone hasn't played it yet, but definitely if you were a fan of the old one or you want to try it now, the Switch Super Mario RPG is a lot of fun.
I thought the music updates were a really good highlight on that one too.
Oh, absolutely.
It sounded so good.
So balatro is also a lot of fun. More fun than I expected. It's that solitaire kind of catch you because you're bored, but keep you because it's fun kind of thing. Where you don't think you're going to be playing a lot on it, then you end up playing tons. And Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance definitely got the Persona 5 Royal treatment, or even the Nocturne Maniacs treatment, where the game felt just not complete the first time. They fixed it now, and it is amazing. One of the best SMT games I've ever played. So those are Game of the Year for Switch.
So now you're waiting for a Metaphor Indulgence or Metaphor Ultimate?
Yes, Metaphor Re-Fantazigan. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, Vengeance, that's one of the ones I'm actually playing. I'm going back and forth on it, but I'm enjoying it still, so that's awesome.
Nice.
All right. Steven, what about you?
So I own all the games you guys are talking about, but I haven't had time to play them because either my next games of the year are taking its place for the most part, or stuff like Balatro has come into my life, and it was one of those, just like Backpack Hero did, just like Fights in Tight Spaces did. Just one more.
I'm telling you, that's what it does.
And now
am I going to get hooked on this like I did Vampire Survivors?
Play it and enjoying it, and I'm just like, oh, they're getting into the grind, and even though they have no idea how any of the 5-hand poker works or anything like that, they're just like, oh, I'm they know enough that the game is just easy to get into and to play, so it's a lot of fun.
Oh man, I have a feeling I'm going to have a problem when this comes in. We'll know by next week if I'm like, this is all I've been playing, man. I need to go play it a little bit more. We'll skip the show for that.
It is crazy that indie games are taking more of my time than the first-party Nintendo games, but I will get to them eventually.
Oh, first-party Nintendo games are certainly trying to take my time. Too much of my damn time, Mario and Luigi. So, all right. So, next we'll move over to PlayStation. And Chase, we'll start with you on that. What is your highlights of 2024 for the PlayStation?
Well, I had to look at it, and I had to look into it, and thank you, PlayStation Wrap Up, for telling me. But so I don't have one of them listed, but I will say 2 games. So obviously, the first one I'm gonna have to say that's not listed on here is Helldivers 2, because I put a metric fuck ton of time into that game, and the amount of just hilarious ways that I could see Swan die is just, that's icing on the cake. Just
Helldivers 2, Swan Song.
Yeah. Oh, well, to be fair, not just Swan, it's all of us, but Swan tends to be the most vocal when he dies, which is just what makes it better in every way, shape, or form.
Like, how many times have people just like, whoop, my bad, I didn't mean to kill you, like shoot each other in the head or hit each other with call down a weapon and it lands on somebody, whatever.
Mine's usually I called out a cluster bomb and I'm like, Swan, don't run that way. And he continues to run that way until the bombs start dropping. Then he's like, no, I'm turning around.
Well, we had to teach you because at first you wouldn't say anything. It was just surprise.
I know, because it was more fun that way.
Not for us, we were dying.
Well, yeah, but that's what Helldivers is all about.
Yeah, it is.
And then the other one would be for a more single player focus. Dragon Age of the Veilguard's actually been a really fun game to play. I really enjoyed it. The ending of it, not going to spoil too much on it, but the ending gave me kind of Mass Effect 2 vibes, which I really enjoyed because I loved Mass Effect 2. So giving me that, giving me those similar vibes was pretty awesome. And there's a couple scenes in there where I was like, oh wow, that actually got me thinking a little bit. So really like that game. I understand what some people's complaints about the gameplay is, and I appreciate like that it's probably not going to be like most people's like favorite game, but I thought it was a really strong game for the year, so I appreciate it.
Nice. Before I continue, I just realized I forgot. So for Rachel, for the Switch, she had listed Epic Mickey Rebrushed, Plucky Squire, which is another one I really wanted to play, Natsumon 20th Century Summer Kid, and then Thank Goodness You're Here, which I didn't realize that was on the Switch. I thought that was just PC.
No, I have it on Switch.
I might have to look into that then. I think we talked about it. We were going to see about getting that one physically. All right. Stephen, we'll continue with you for PlayStation because this seems like it's going to be
okay. I am going to preface this with the fact that Chris did not make this list because his recap said he did not turn on his PlayStation often enough to formulate any data. So I thought that was hilarious that his recap laughed at him. Just wanted to put that out there.
There was an error message. It said it's only possible two ways. If you haven't played at all, or I don't even remember the other one. But Sony hates me this year.
But as much as I played, because Sniper Elite 6 is next year, I couldn't put that on the list. So if you look at my recap, you can tell when a certain game came out, and that's ZZZ. I haven't liked character design or just how the characters act and how the story works and their backstories since Overwatch. So, this was another, gotcha-esque type thing, but was a lot more story-oriented. And the characters are not just eye candy. They actually have, like, problems, issues. They have their likes and dislikes. So it's been a blast going through that game. And even though when Chase watched it, he said, "What in the anime is this?" The battles can look pretty crazy, but all in all, I just like how the story in the world plays out.
To be fair, the only character that I saw a couple of characters, but the only character that I really saw was a big titty anime police woman. So I was like, okay.
Jesus.
Is it all right?
Well, I got a long-legged, big-titted Section 6 specialized woman with a giant sword.
Shit.
So I was like, move over, Sephiroth. Nobody cares about you anymore.
You're gonna have to show me this again. This game again. I'm gonna have to see all the stuff they've added to it.
Wow. All right. So as they stated before, Chris didn't even have anything listed because his did not get turned on, apparently. For me, when I had my breakdown, I did not turn my PlayStation on until Astrobot came out. So for the first 5 months, there's nothing. And then Astrobot, and then pretty much nothing afterwards. So it was so late in the day, I thought my thing was broken until I went back and looked and went, oh yeah. We joked earlier before the show of my PlayStation should have the option for a sound effect. When I turn it on, it just goes like it's just waking up from a coma or something. Like, oh my God, where am I?
What year is it?
Yeah, I need to update every time. But I did really enjoy Astrobot. I played it. I made the mistake of playing it. What was my thought? That I wanted to play it on a reviewer schedule. And I played through the entire game and platinumed it in a weekend. just a weekend. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm never fucking doing that again.
No one should devote that kind of time to one game.
There was a discussion at the time about how people would do reviews and so forth. So I was like, I want to see if I could do it. So it came out, and within that weekend, I did everything you could in that game, 100% platinum, everything. And I was like, wow, I don't want this for a job. I hate this. But the game still was great. So that was the highlight for me. It wasn't enough to get me to get PlayStation Plus. Try again, Sony. So because it had no online. So fuck off.
Sony hired us to do that.
Yeah, we're either going to get him on PS Plus or Game Pass. He's going to get into something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, y'all joked about that last episode, and that would have been great. I'm like, God dang it. All right, so speaking of Xbox, let's go ahead and jump into that. And Chris, we're going to start with you on this one because you didn't have anything for PlayStation. Do you have anything for Xbox?
I do. It's unintentional. But
It's on Game Pass.
I know.
Nothing
But
wrong with that.
they just keep pulling me back in. Every time Power Wash just shows up, I think the game is done, and they're like, ooh, Holiday module, ooh, Shrek module, ooh, Alice in Wonderland. And
Ooh.
suddenly I'm playing Power Wash again. I have
Disappointing
no
Back to the
choice.
Future.
Ugh.
Those are very
And the thing is, it's
disappointing.
fun. It's soothing. It's pleasant. Instead of worrying about, whether you're going to be picked off by a bunch of guys in Halo outfits or trying to win the race or, anything like that, you're just cleaning a garage. And that's just nice and simple. I can
It
do
is.
that.
We're not
You're
cleaning
the
the
guy
garage
that's-
anymore.
You're the guy that's making sure the vehicle for the guys that are going to be sniping people is clean. You're just-
Exactly, especially in the freaking Warhammer thing. I'm like, well, the Adeptus Mechanicus is paying me to make sure this redacted is just nice and shiny, so I better not, I better not disappoint the Imperium.
Boy,
Oh,
covered in blood and
God.
guts.
I felt we walked into a Warhammer history class with those stages because they just did all these Easter eggs, and we're like, okay, you're saying a lot of redacted though.
That was hilarious. Oh,
So
Lord.
yes, that was mine.
All right. Once again, I forgot to mention Rachel's response for PlayStation, so let me get that real quick. Astrobot, because she enjoyed it. Yeah, keep laughing up, Chase. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. All right, back to Xbox. Actually, you know what? Let's get Rachel's out of the way. She just wanted to let us know she doesn't have an Xbox. That's literally what she put. So that's her response. Chase, what about you? What was your Xbox favorite this year? Favorites?
Well, there was this game that, it's taken like only 10 years to come out called...
Power Wash?
No. It's gross.
I mean, it's
Get
kind
out
of
here.
Power Wash related.
Balatro?
No. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. That was definitely my highlight of the year for Xbox.
So I was washing your stupid tank.
Yeah, actually, you were making sure that we were going in with a nice, clean Thunderbird. So I really appreciate that.
You were doing the
Or
good
Thunderhawk.
work for us. Yeah.
That game was everything that I was hoping it was going to be, plus some. I love games that make you just feel powerful, and that game, it makes you feel powerful. Like you can just, you see something in front of you, you're like, I can kill it. I know I can.
And if I can, I
How
can sure
is the
damn try.
question? Yeah. No, that game was great, and playing it co-op, just icing on the top. So
Mhm.
always good.
All right, Steven, what about you?
I'm going to echo Chris's statement because he was my unpaid helper. But it is Power Wash Simulator because it kept bringing us back. I would keep sending him a video saying, guess what's coming next? Guess what's coming out now? Guess what they just added today for free?
Every
And
time I
then
think I'm out, they pull me back in.
I would watch him suffer trying to get his controllers to work. He finally figured it out as of today, which is almost the end of the year, so it took him almost a full year to figure out his issues.
I only got an Xbox controller like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's
so.
true.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it is still so relaxing. It's every time we play, it is just like having group therapy with people, and people can just relax and talk. not worrying about if they're going to get killed around the corner, run out of
Mhm.
ammo, except for foam. But foam stars sucks anyway. But it was just nice, because I like to clean, and there isn't many games that really strive for that other than House Flipper. So it was just nice for this game to just be like, don't worry about anything. Don't worry about a UI that's insane. Just worry about cleaning. And then do a lot of swearing when it says you have 99% cleaned and you have to find the one speck underneath somewhere where you have to duck down and go prone and find it.
Yeah, that is the most annoying part of those. So I don't really play Power Wash on Xbox. I have it available on there, but for me, I have gotten so addicted to using motion controls on the Steam Deck that I'm like, I can't do it anywhere else, because I can just hit a button on the back at any time and just sit there and just spray. And I'm like, this is sublime. So that's where I play all of them, which is great. But for me, for Xbox, I have to be right there with Chase on Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 being an absolute just legend in killing things, and so over the top because I have the code, brother. So many times. Yeah, that was the voice we would do for everything. Are you okay, brother? Brother.
And we got to use Wonder Woman's invisible jet, so that was fun.
But
Yeah,
God, the
that
game
was
so glitchy at the beginning.
Ooh, when it first came out, that was bad.
The glitch was like, how do we get to the next stage? Walk into what you think is the jet. Okay.
And it worked. And it would load us into the game. Because we'd watch the ship take off and we're standing there going, wait a minute.
They left without us. We got an invisible one.
It took us like an hour to figure that out.
Chris cleaned it so well that you can't even see it.
He took the paint off, man. Overachiever. So yeah, that's been great. And then I know this wasn't released this year, but I did not get my copy until this year, and that is Baldur's Gate 3 for Series X, which I have put an ungodly amount of time in once it finally clicked. I had it on PC and I was trying to mess with it a little bit, like on Steam Deck before I got my big computer, and it was working, but the Series X version was when I really got to sit down and play it. But what didn't help with me just doing that was the great people at Larian Studios sent out like bonus content along with my physical copy as a code, and they messed up. And when you put the code in, it just gave me the entire game digitally. I didn't realize it was a mistake. I was like, oh, that's great. So they knew because I had a Series X, I bought the physical copy. They gave me the digital one so I can play it on my Series S as well. That's a great little bonus. And about a week later, I get an email from them going, hey, that code was wrong. Like, we were only supposed to give you like a shield and some other little things, not the game. But to their credit, they let me keep it. So I have it digitally, installed it on my Series S, and I'll play in my room, come in here and play in the living room and so forth. So I'm excited, and I played a lot of that one. But Warhammer is probably the top.
That's way too nice. I'm going to review bomb them now.
Sorry, I didn't give all that love and regard to the other fucking game. So, all right, let's move on to our almost last category, and that is our PC games, which to start us off, we'll just say what Rachel's was, so I don't forget again. And that is a game called The Operator. I don't know what that is, so we're going to have to ask her later what the hell that is.
Yeah, she can tell us all this stuff next week.
Yeah, I just wanted to include it in the list. She'll tell us all of it, but
there you go.
All right, Chris, we're going to start with you because we already know where this is going to go.
Well, I've been playing, let's see, my 2024 Steam thing says that nearly 45% of this year's game time was spent on something called Metaphor Refantasio. So, yeah, I've been kind of enjoying it. And aside from that, I've also been playing Anton Blast. I kickstarted it, so I got the Steam code, and they're both a lot of fun. I've been enjoying them immensely.
Nice. Yeah, your absolute obsession is the best I can put it for Metaphor is what got me interested in it. So when Jeremy picked it up for me for my birthday, I'm giving it a go, and we'll see how it hooks me. So
I'm not obsessed. I just happen to like Atlas games a little more than normal.
You're thoroughly attentive.
Is too timid of a word.
Yeah, you're not obsessed. You're thoroughly attentive.
There, see, that's much nicer.
No,
Like
he's
you make me
attached,
sound less
he's
insane.
attached to the hip.
Oh Lord. Steven, what about you? What's your PC games for this year?
Not really much according to the Steam recap, but at least what I've enjoyed because it's harkened back to playing a game called Hero Quest in the board game fashion. That has actually seen a resurgence with way too many expansions for me to afford, but I want to own them all eventually because I love that game. To kind of play a game that's like it, in terms of its feel, was Demeo. I made fun of it thoroughly during the Sony State of Decay, saying like, "What is this VR garbage that they're having people play? Do we move people around like a chessboard and just watch them make love to each other?"
And how did you get this game, Steven?
Some guy held me at Steam Point and said, "Guess what? You have it, so play it or else." And I was just like, "Okay, fine." It appeared in my gift box on Steam.
You're damn right it did.
And I was like, "Oh, I don't need VR. Okay, that's good." And then I started playing it. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is a lot easier to pick up than most of the games of this caliber." So I was like, "This is good."
It's
I like the card system the most. Again, because it's part of the thing that gets you in a lot of these games. Balatro, ZZZ is like, what random ability am I going to get, or what special ability am I going to get? So the games I've been playing the most, there's a theme going.
Yep. All right. And Chase, your answer seems fairly straightforward. What's your best PC game for this year?
A console game that supports it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a gaming PC. Something I hope to rectify next year. But I guess an honorable mention would be for Shinoa, because she has played some PC games on her laptop. Would be the Spiderweb software games. They're kind of like old school isometric RPGs that she thoroughly enjoys. So throw that out there.
Nice. I would think with someone who has all the big consoles like Series X and PS5 that getting a PC might be redundant, but it sounds like there might still be stuff you would want.
Oh yeah, there's definitely quite a few things that I would like to get on. There's also just quite a few games I'd probably get on PC if I had the option to be fair.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so that's hopefully something that we're going to rectify in 2025. And
you can 3D print one. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeez.
I'll help you solder the boards.
I don't know if that's a good idea. Oh, but when Jeremy shows me your
invested in my engineering degree, Steven, you're not allowed to pick up a soldering iron ever again.
So, well, what I was going to say is I want to be a part of this, seeing your solder work on the Switch, and that'll determine whether or not I agree to this.
I'll be recording it and streaming this shit. Don't worry. I'm working on a camera setup for it. Because now that I have the camera moved to here, I can bring the arm in with a different camera and actually get it set up to see it. So, yeah.
He wants to be the outsider to be like, "Oh my God, we're soldering him too. Oh no."
Oh, it's going to be glorious and terrible all at the same time. All right. So PC for me this year, surprisingly, I guess I've played less titles than I did last year, but that's only because I got a Steam Deck last year and I went ham on that thing, trying every fucking game I had available. Because it doesn't matter. I'm sure, Chase, even you're going to get a PC and you're going to have a massive Steam library and go, how the did that get there? What is going on? Because you've inevitably, I think it just happens naturally, as you grow older, you find hair in weird spots and games in your Steam library.
Yeah.
So, but I started off, the most I've played this year on PC has to be Helldivers 2, which you guys have been playing on PlayStation. I've been playing it on PC, and it is phenomenal. And I'm glad they allowed crossplay and got that working. Because that has been my preferred way to play it, and now I can play it on my new laptop that I got.
Glad they didn't shut off Chase's country.
No shit. Sony really fucked that up with that. Just dropped the ball on that whole thing. Like they had a gold mine going and dropped it on that. But I mean, it's still a great game. They've stumbled. They have picked it up pretty well. They're somewhat stumbling again with the crap they're doing with this on the store on it, but we'll see. But I've gotten my time on it this year and I've really loved it. I'm hoping we can play it again here soon. But the other game that has just taken over my December is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Oh my god, this game is so much fun. I know Shinoa took your Xbox, Chase, and played the hell out of this. I haven't finished it yet.
To beat it.
Yeah, I'm taking my sweet time. Probably gonna start playing it again some more tomorrow as well. But just been lovingly enjoying it, and it's been a highlight for a lot of my stuff. And just having it on PC, because this is the thing. Like Chris, you're talking about, like, you know, why would you get a PC if you've got all the consoles or vice versa? And this is kind of an argument in your way, because I got it for free with my laptop because I had to buy a new laptop because I had a horrible Thanksgiving accident with my Surface, which just so you can see how that's gone this year. That is my Surface. That is the glass shattered in the corner.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah. It still works, by the way.
Oh, that's
It's
something
still,
at least.
Yeah. But I had to buy a new laptop. So I ordered a new one. Sucker has a 4070 in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, it's nice. But I didn't know until after I bought the laptop. They're like, here's your code for Indiana Jones. And I went, huh, I guess I have this. It was a Steam code. So my desktop has a 4070 Ti, so it plays it great. So I was playing it on here, playing it on my laptop. And then they let me sign in on Xbox. And not only do I get Steam achievements, but it's giving me every one of the Xbox achievements too. So I'm building up all the Indiana Jones stuff on there. And I was like, they really gave me no reason to buy the disc copy on my Xbox. So I canceled my pre-order. Also because I found out the game is basically not on the disc. That kind of pissed me off. I'll pick it up later super cheap just to get the artwork, but whatever. If the PlayStation 5 release next year is actually on the disc, I will buy it on that. As bad a taste that leaves in my mouth, I'll do it. But yeah, like PC gaming is, I think there's room for both console and PC. They do work well together. Some games just play better on a PC. Some of them play better on a console. Some of them are really indifferent, like Indiana Jones being one of them and Helldivers being the other. Like they just work on both of them just fine. I think the best part of it is, and I'm hoping Sony embraces this more now they finally started doing with some of them, is crossplay. That has been such a benefit to us, and we've really gotten into it this year with all of the co-op and stuff we've done, because there's many times we're all on completely different setups of what we're playing. I mean, I think Warhammer, were we all on? I don't think all of us were on Xbox. Or do you have it on PlayStation, or no? You have it on
No,
Xbox.
we all had it on Xbox.
Xbox.
But it was compatible. You could get it on PlayStation and still play together, or PC,
Yep.
and that was nice. So, all right, in our last little bit here, we had an other category for basically like mobile and stuff, which I think only Steven and I had anything for that. So, Steven, I'll let you hit that really quick.
Basically, Pokemon has been the only thing that's been hitting, but their biggest one, which hasn't cost me anything, and I will not pay for this, because every day you get to open 2 virtual packs of cards.
Mm-hmm.
You can collect them, you can put them in binders, you can battle with them, and you can try to get rare cards from your friends without using their cards. They do what they call Wonder Picks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of those rare things where I got a friend who almost never plays mobile games to download it, and now it's just part of another routine, but this is more like a routine before I go to bed. I'm like, yeah, I'll open 2 packs of Pokemon cards, see what I get, and it's been a fun little thing, and it's free, so
I need to give that a try while I'm thinking about it. For me, it's basically been I paid the $10 and gave Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete a go, because Nintendo did the very rare thing in mobile games where they're like, hey, we're bringing end of life to this, but we're going to go ahead and just give you a complete edition you can buy, let you transfer over your stuff, and then continue playing it. And it's actually been fun. It's kind of relaxing just to mess around with it. You still get to do events and so forth. You can build up your camp, talk to other people. There's not so much multiplayer to it anymore, but there's also not microtransactions, which is great. So, yeah, that's been kind of a surprise. All right. So, lastly, we're going to jump into our big question really quick to talk about our
No
end of the year.
news?
No news. We're just skipping the news. We're going straight
There
into it.
was only one sad part of news, and that was it.
Yeah, we'll save that for later. I'm not even going to bother with the news at the end of the year. All right. So, what I want to go into is what is a series you want to give a try in 2025? Either a new one or giving one another go. Steven, we'll start with you.
After seeing every meme possible, every TikTok possible, people talk about it, people rave about it, see people review bomb it, see people give it the best reviews ever. Just see all the madness. I will go into it fresh, hopefully not backseated at all, because I'm going to play this from the cuff, Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice.
If somebody dies, they die. If somebody lives, they live.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a fun adventure either way. And for a Western RPG, for somebody like even Chris to play it before me, I was just like, whoa, that must be mean it's really good, or he's being hammered to play it. So that's something I want to do in the new year. Because of what the creator said of it being almost an extension to Final Fantasy VI, I need to buckle down and basically pull a brothership with Fantasia Neo Dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Chris said he'd like to watch it too to see what he thinks of it, but I want to delve deep into that and probably finish that in the new year. And then, I get the itch, and I know Rachel has said it in the past as well, that she wants to play more multiplayer games with us. And I feel with all the streams I've watched with all the multiplayer games that are either silly, fun, just co-op in general, I do want to play more multiplayer PC games, either any of the simulator games where we can just be weird, the We Were Here series, which there's like 3 or 4. There's Content Warning, which is Lethal Company, but even sillier. I embrace those games, and I just want to play stuff that either doesn't translate very well or can't be played on a console as easily.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right. Chase, what about you?
So for my picks, I played the demo for, I know this isn't really a series, but I played the demo for Dynasty Warriors Origins, so I'm pretty excited to play that coming in January.
Oh, that's fine.
Series. There's 10 of them.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I also, because of PoE 2, I decided that I was talking to some people, and now it turns out that Jeremy's got it and Steven's got it. And so I'm thinking, why not we get back into Diablo 4? The new expansions come out. Apparently the new expansions made the game a lot better. So in a lot of ways, from talking from just kind of word of mouth from people that have been playing it. So I'm like, hey, Diablo's pretty fun. I'm interested to get back in there. I had a necromancer where I could just like make minions to do all the minions did all the work for me. So actually, it was really fun. So kind of want to get back into that. Swan, just to recap, one of Swan's Baldur's Gate 3. They're bringing out the new co-op patch, crossplay,
Yes.
Sweet.
That's all I'm waiting for. Is that?
Hope you guys are ready for me.
Hope you're ready for me. I'm gonna be like
this game is just the peak fuckery. That's all it's gonna be. It's just us doing the dumbest shit we can.
So
I will literally run around naked if I can.
I want to share one thing that I missed doing that I loved doing. I played with my wife. I played Knights of the Old Republic, or the Old Republic, whichever the MMO version was for PC.
The Old Republic.
Yes.
And what we loved the most about it is we played it in a specific way. We called it Red versus Blue. So I made my character very red color focused. Uh-huh. She made her character very blue focused. The rule that we could not break was whoever is in the conversation, we have to say whatever is in red for me. And if she's doing the conversation, she has to say whatever's in blue. So blue, of course, is all the nice things. Red is all the bad decisions or evil things. So it made
Oh.
for a nice dynamic because sometimes one of us would just spill into a conversation and the red option would be shoot him. And I'd be like, bye.
I love that. That's great. That's actually a really creative way to do that.
Last but not least, Stalker 2. I have it. I just haven't played it yet because my Xbox has been commandeered for the last few weeks. So I want to play Stalker 2. I really enjoyed the first one, so I want to give it a shot.
Nice. All right, Chris, what about you? You're muted, buddy.
Sorry about that. I
That's
was
hilarious.
typing something I didn't want clickety clackities to happen.
I appreciate it. Oh, good.
So a lot of people have been begging me to play Baldur's Gate 3, so I'm going to play Mega Man.
You can make Jennifer happy.
Well, the thing is, I've played most of the series, but I never played Mega Man Legends, and a lot of people consider
Ooh.
that series to be very important within the canon. And not only that, but very fun, regardless.
It is fun.
So
It's weird.
You'd be Volt Nut.
yes, exactly.
Mega Man
Walnut.
Walnut. Yeah, I really want to hear your impression on this one because I played it, but I played it first on N64, which is a good version. It's just weird. But go ahead.
So I hear. Well, I'm going to play the PlayStation versions. I'm going to play 1, 2, and the Misadventures of Tron Bonne, and we're going to see. I think the reason I haven't played it in so long is because I don't really like the controls. I'm so used to, press right to go right, press left to go left, and the tank controls of Legends never quite gelled with me, but I'll give it a try regardless.
Once you get the slide boots, it's kind of weird. That was back then, like the controls were weird for what they were at the time, but now they've kind of fit more with modern controls a little bit. And when you start getting the slide boots, you feel more like modern controls. Like it gets better. I agree, it plays better on a PlayStation controller or that style, or like any modern controller. The 64 was a weird one, but it worked. Whatever.
I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah.
So yes, I'll give that.
What are you going to play it on? I'm curious.
Probably going to play it, on my PC. So
Okay.
We'll see how that goes.
Duck Station it is.
Yes, indeed. I'm also going to give Marvel Rivals a try because a lot of people have been bothering me about that, and I at the very least, I want to try a couple of characters and see how they go. I'm probably going to be absolute balls at that game.
I don't care.
Just be Jeff the Land Shark and eat people.
No, everybody hates Jeff the Land Shark. I keep seeing memes about how everyone wants to kill the shark or put him in Doctor Strange portals.
That's because
over and over again.
That's because he can eat everybody and spit him off the cliff.
Oh, that does sound kind of fun, actually. But, we will see. We will see. So yeah, those are mine.
Yeah, let me know when you play. I would love to get back into Rivals again. I was having some fun with it the one time I played with Steven, and I've been wanting to play some more.
Well, keep it in mind.
So for me, one of the big things for next year that I'm excited to be able to do is another collaboration with Steven for starting off and finding out about, this time being my first time playing the Commodore 64.
I hope he's ready for the barrage of games that I'm going to let him.
Which is fine. I have a Commodore
Godspeed.
64 Mini that I picked up recently. I'm almost tempted to get it. It's sitting up there.
I'm going to bring out all my floppy disks on stream.
Which is great. I love seeing stuff like that. But it has the option. I can plug in a full-size keyboard into it, all that stuff. It's got a more advanced controller with it that I will use. But you can plug in a USB drive and play pretty much any Commodore 64 game. So we're going to get a list together of the games that Steven thinks I should play. And I'm going to get them all to have on there, and I'm not going to play them until we're together. We might pick one just as a test, just to make sure it's working correctly, but then actually play them for the first time on stream. Kind of like how we did with Snatcher. We did all of it live, good or bad.
Yeah, like when I hooked up, I still have mine hooked up in the office where I work, and because I specifically played Maniac Mansion to show Christian some things that they don't do anymore in games.
Blow up the hamster, I think, is one thing.
Well, they still do that, but but just like how fast or how many different endings you could get and stuff like that. But then I started talking about other games, and I'm like, oh man, this is when Electronic Arts was unstoppable.
So I'm looking forward to doing that. Of course, we'll also have the stream of figuring out what in God's name he has done to this Switch Lite. That's going to be great.
I want to see that.
I think
I have a
one time we need to do a controller extra quarters and have Chris there just to give his like outsider's opinion on the controller.
That'd be good because I'm actually getting a lot of my controllers out now that I've gotten a bunch of the systems out. Like I just got my Steel Battalion controller back out because John wants to play that again. So I have this massive 40-button, 2-joystick top hat.
I only pressed 2 buttons on there: the windshield wipers and the one that makes you explode.
Yeah, the eject. I freaking love that. And of course, we're talking about trying to get. We're going to find other ways to get back into some more of the multiplayer games, including Sea of Thieves. I want us to get back into that and find a way for Rachel to join in because I want Rachel to be able to play with us. I know she really wants to, and I think we should.
Chase can play that too. He just has to make sure it's updated because there's a lot of updates.
Yeah, I got to update it too. But thankfully, that one's cross.
Chris could play, but he needs update.
Because I have it on PC and on Xbox because I bought it digitally.
How many people can you have in a party?
Say what?
How many people can you have like in a party together?
Yeah,
4, I think. So
I thought it was larger than that.
I don't know. We'll have to look it up. When do you guys look it up? We have the internet. And then lastly, of course, we talked about earlier, I picked up Diablo 4 and really want to give that a go. I loved Diablo 3. I hated it when it first came out because I was like, I'm not doing this, store requirement and all that stuff. But when they finally got rid of that and released it on consoles, I bought it on 360, played the crap out of it, bought it on Xbox One, played the crap out of it, bought it on Switch, played the crap out of it, and bought 3 copies of it so my kids could play with me. So it is, I lost track on how much time I put in Diablo 3. So I'm hoping Diablo 4, now that it's been updated and things have been worked through, will catch the same, attention and go from there. So who knows?
It's up to 4. They're working on 8 to 10 bigger ships.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We can cycle people out because her and Chase are going to be the scheduling problems because we're like the far end of the times. For her, it's really late right now. For you, it's like middle of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that with it being a pirate game, Chanel will probably be interested as well. So she'll probably also be keen, maybe. But
if she's way too happy and she just wants to like hate herself, then she should play Skull and Bones.
No, she's definitely not way too happy.
I will kick Chase off this show. Just for our own safety. We can't let that spread. It's nothing personal. It's a quarantine thing.
Yeah.
Oh God, he's caught Skull and Bones. We have to get rid of him. All right.
Swan gave it to me.
Jesus. All right. So that was our big question. All right. So we'll go ahead and close out the show, not just for this episode, but for the year. So this closes out our 2024 season 6, and we will come back early in January for our season 7 episode, starting us off on 156. But right now, you can find the podcast in audio form wherever you listen to your shows, and the video version over on YouTube at our channel. It's Zenspath COM over at YouTube. Both can easily be found over on Zenspath.com as well, where you can see the latest audio or video versions there. Leave us a review if you can to help us grow. Like and share the show with others. Leave us a comment on YouTube to tell us how you feel about the show, and maybe answer the big question for yourself. Let us know what your favorite games of the year for each system were, as well as what your plans for next year are going to be. And if you want to talk to us directly, your best way to do that is to find us over on our Discord, which is going to be bit.ly/Zenspath Discord. ZENSPATHDISCORD. All right. So that's been episode 154 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast, finishing off 2024. And we're out. Peace.
Next
Happy
up,
New
Switch
Year.
2.
Jinkies.
Jinkies.
A direct. Jinkies.